We're going to go back to Jeremiah, and we'll go back to the 7th verse. And I want to say thank you this morning for those of you that were able to press your way in. Insight was insightful. And it is our desire that, of course, that we would get a deeper understanding of the scriptures, but that we would gain insight into not only the Most High, but into each other. And we'll do it in such a way that is pleasing to Him. I want to encourage you that it's worth the effort to circumvent your schedule. I want to encourage you that in following the Most High intently, sometimes it will disrupt temporarily. It'll disrupt your life flow, but it's worth the effort to conform to His instructions. We have gotten accustomed to doing things a certain way, and we've become so accustomed to it that sometimes when we respond to one another, we're actually saying it's not about Him, it's more about my schedule. We've had information submitted to us, and we have accepted it for the most part, that we think there are certain things we can't do. He has made it such that if we truly want to follow His teachings and instructions, we can do so. It's something about we are too casual. I don't mean in form of dress. We are too casual about what's really important in life. See, for some of us, our careers set precedent over how we live our lives. For some of us, who we are married to sets precedent over our life. For some of us, whoever we're dating sets precedent over our life. But we come in here and we sing songs and they're moving, and we say, it's all about you, Lord. But yet, it's almost like it's all about you as long as it meets with my scheduling. We're too casual. We, I didn't say you, I said we are too casual. And if we're not careful, we will begin to believe that the way we're going about things is pleasing to him, and they may not be. Doesn't matter if you've been doing it for 50, 60 years. It's possible he wants more. In 2025, let us all at least purpose to look for all the casual idols that we have in our lives. And let's disrupt some of the casualty out of our lives. Because truly, following his instruction, that's really all that matters. We truly got to love him more. And love our lives and even our lifestyles just a little less. I'm going to say that again. We truly need to love him more and love our lives and our lifestyles just a little less. I'm not saying that we're not grateful. I believe he believes that we are grateful. But if we're honest, we're just a little too casual. It's as if we kind of think we may be under the mistaken assumption that we're so close to him, that's what brings about the casualness. And I'm here to tell you, saints, that might be a mistake on our part. Even in the world, they have a statement, familiarity breeds contempt. And if you live life that way, see, sometimes, and you know, I've talked about that, taking each other even for granted. Taking certain people, well, I know they'll be there, or I know they'll get this done. What if he calls them home? Then who's going to do it? Let us shake some of the casual cobwebs out of our thinking, out of our living, and let us hear the trumpet that's being blown, because we're being called to attention. And I'm not trying to put anything in the universe, which is the new phrase everybody likes to use. But let us work on not being so casual, not being so familiar, because it will be to our detriment. it will be to our detriment, because there will come a time. Remember when Samson had finally devised to his companion at the time the source of his strength, and that person that he trusted divulged some information to some people that didn't mean him well. And Samson was always accustomed to, however he was living, that the Most High always kind of had his back. But after his hair was shorn and the Philistines came in, what did he do? He got up and he did what he always did. He shook himself, thinking that the favor that had always been with him would be with him. Why? Because he had always done it that way. And believers, Christians, churchgoers, he got casual. He got casual with the favor from the Most High. And I'm not throwing shade at him. I'm reading about him. He don't know me from a can of paint. So I'm not saying it in the light of, I could have done better. Lord knows I wasn't even worried. You're not reading about me. The children of Israel at one time, the Most High used to go up to the Most High and they said, well, should we go and do battle? He said, yeah, go do battle. And they went and they were victorious. Of course, he was doing it for them. I mean, he was doing it through them, I'll put it that way. And so they got used to that. And they begin to, as we say today, well, they don't say it much anymore, but they begin to read their press clippings. They begin to hear about how great they were, how, my gosh, God is on our side. Sound familiar? And so even in that, they got casual and they begin to slip. See, being casual, sometimes you begin to slip. And that happens today. I'll be there if it meets with my scheduling. I've got this situation going on that needs my attention. You had all week to take care of that. Why is it happening? Why can you not make it now? I can't make it now because I got something else to do. Okay. When y'all has an appointed time, do we respond? Let me check my schedule. I got a barber appointment at 2, Father. I'm going shopping at 6. Football game come on at whatever. And I'm not knocking all those things. Those things have their place in life. But in our casualness, we have put that over really coming to meet with him. Something very beautiful happened this morning. There was a period where for a little while anyway, nobody said nothing. That was beautiful. And again, I'm not saying this as if I'm some authority. I'm a part of creation. I'm telling you something, saints. Don't be afraid of silence before the Most High. See, we have learned how to pray. We pray our wish list. And then sometimes, once we've said all we got to say, we up and we starting our day. How many of us wait to see if there's some impression? Or, hey, it's such and such and such and such. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. Getting back to the children of Israel. They had become so casual that they began slipping and backsliding and taking shortcuts, and because, hey, God is on our side. And trouble got to brewing, and then they go, okay, let's shake ourselves and let's go to the Most High and let's see what he said. And you know what he said? Yeah. Go get them again. And they did like they were already always used to doing. They went into battle. And they got their behinds kicked. And I'm saying it nicely because I'm in church. But they got beat up. They got their behinds kicked. And they come up and they're going, well, God, what happened? See, we do stuff, we go contrary to the instruction, and then we say, Father, why did you let this happen to me? And he's saying, Barry, because you got too casual. You are too casual with me. I'm not on your time schedule. You're supposed to be on mine. What's wrong with you? You know, Jeremiah, I've gotten a book from one of the brothers, and it's on the prophets. And you know, again, we tend to think we understand the scriptures more than we might actually not. And I was already in Jeremiah before I got the book, and I'm trying to glean some things, and you know, it's not a lot of rah-rah in Jeremiah. And I had started last week, and I had read some things, and it kind of got us down a little bit, but then I finished with this because I want you, out of all of what you hear, just remember what I'm about to read after I read some more. But take this with you on your way in. And every time you start to every time we allow the casualness when it comes to the Most High. Let's start there. the casualness in our lives when it comes to him. Because it's going to take some effort for us to stop being casual with one another. It's easier let's stop first being casual with him, because when we stop being casual with him, it'll help us to be less casual with one another. And then we can go and grow. Give an ear to this. 7, and I'm going to start in 21. Jeremiah. He says, "Thus say Yah, the God of Israel, you may as well eat the meat of your burnt offerings along with that of your sacrifices." You know, and I had a chance to share with the Insight group. You know, a lot of us, quite possibly, because it's above my pay grade, I can only speak about my own life. But I try to use words like we and us because it is us. Al Jarreau did a song, "We're in This Love Together." I know some of you don't know anything about that, but some of you do, and you want to act like you don't, but that's all right. Because we're in this thing together, folks. He says, you might as well eat the meat of your burnt offerings along with that of your sacrifices. And then something key, and a lot of us have read this and never gave it a second thought. He says, "For I didn't speak to your ancestors or give them orders concerning burnt offerings or sacrifices when I brought them out of the land of Egypt." But if you read the scriptures, they were still what? Offering up burnt offerings and sacrifices. But let me read that again, because I didn't say this. I'm just reading what's in here. He says, "For I didn't speak to your ancestors or give them orders concerning burnt offerings or sacrifices when I brought them out of the land of Egypt." Then he says, "Rather, what I did order them was this." Let me read that again. "Rather, what I did order them was this." See, we've gotten to where we even call it, we've become so casual with what we call the commandments. In our casualness, we take them as suggestions. Well, because you give me a free will, I might do it, or I might not, depending on how I'm feeling. Depending on what my boss said to me. Depending on if the man cut me off in traffic. What is wrong with us? What is wrong with us? Why have we reduced the quality of our lives based solely on how we feel? Why have we done this? Being casual drums this stuff up. Yes, we say, particularly in here now, "Oh, it's all about you, Lord." We're trained to say that. But if it's all about him, why are we so casual? He says, "Rather, what I did order them was this." He says, listen at this. "Pay attention to what I say. what I did order them was this: pay attention to what I say. Pay attention to what I say. And then this is what he said after this. He says, then I will be your God, and you will be my people. See, sometimes if we're not careful in our casualness, we proclaim, I'm a child of the King. I'm a child of the Most High. I'm the head and not the tail. I'm above and not beneath. I love you, Lord. And we're not doing a lot of the things that he said do. So who you think lying? Don't even think about it. I can answer that. We are. It's just hot air. It's just words. And if you didn't use mouthwash, it's bad breath. And it means nothing. Rather, what I did order them was this: pay attention to what I say. Then I will be your God. Then. But we got to do step A. You know, even in Deuteronomy, he'll say, if you do this, this will happen. If you do that, this will happen. Say if. And we all know what? If my people. If my people. If my people that are called by my name would humble themselves and pray and seek my hand for a bigger house, a fancier car, a summer home, money to go on vacation every year, a fancier church, new vans. Another pastor. No. If my people that are called by my name would humble themselves and pray and seek my face, not my hand. Seek my face. But see, we've been taught, seek his hand. Come to church, give your heart to the Lord, write the check, pay your tithes, and you're going to get a bigger house. You're going to get another car. That's what we've been taught. And in some circles, they'll judge you if you're not living on Sugar Hill. Oh, God don't love you. Or he don't love you much. You know, some people go to churches based on what kind of cars parked out in the parking lot. That's how casual we've become. That's crazy. That's crazy. And I'm not against having nice things. No, and he's not against us having nice stuff. But don't be casual with it. And don't start thinking your stuff makes you. The more you acquire, the more that is required to maintain the stuff you got. Affording a car is not because you can make the payments. And I'm going to get into some of this in insight, because a lot of people think just because you pay your bills does not mean you're a good money manager. Now, I know a lot of people, I don't know what he's talking about. I pay my bills on time. And that's good. Please do, please. I encourage that. That don't make you a good money manager. Man, do you know a lot of people are really struggling? A lot of people are losing their homes, are having their cars repossessed. Making six figures. And that's another thing. But I'm going to get back to this too, but let me say this. What you gross is not what you bring home. What you bring home is what you pay your bills with. So I don't care if you make $150,000 a year. You're being taxed on $150,000 a year, but you're not bringing $150,000 home to pay your bills. Remember that. But see, I'm going somewhere with all of this. Being casual brings all of this. See, it places importance more on you think you got it, you think you working it, and you think God's smiling on you because all the plates you got in the air, you still able to twirl them. But saints, while we twirling plates, life is happening. Somebody that was helping you twirling plates, all of a sudden now they gone. And the plates gonna start dropping. Somebody that you used to doing something that you really could have done, but I'm gonna let them do it. Again, what if they ain't here? What are you gonna do? I'm telling you, let's get some of that casualness out of our lives because it's going to bite us in the tush. It really is. I was sharing with the Insight crowd. I said, 2025, I'm circling my wagons. And that don't mean I still care about everybody. I really do. But in circling the wagons, I'm going to get some of this casualness out of my life, particularly when it comes to him. And a lot of times, it's easy for your mind to say, you doing enough, you doing too much. Well, that's what happens to me sometimes. And I've told you, I didn't lie to you. I told you, I complain a lot. Not so much to you, but I complain to the one that can do about it. I whine. And he give me a little space and time, and then he'll work with me. Sometimes he's nice. I get some of that treatment some of you all get. Or some of you all see, he can just look at some of you all and y'all just straighten up. I would imagine I probably got some looks, and I straighten up, but I done had a few 2x4s upside the back of my head. And it don't feel good. But when I looked at it, it was because I had become casual. I had become familiar. Oh, I got this. No, you don't got this. And I know that's bad English, but I don't care. You understand what I'm saying. Folks, we got to fight this casualness. Because I'm going to tell you what else casualness leads to apathy. And all of a sudden now, it don't matter. I'll pass. And see, apathy is kin to your feelings again. And our feelings can do us wrong sometimes. I was talking with Sister Ruby, and she was sharing some disturbing news because somebody got in their feelings and they did something horribly, horribly bad. Folks, we need to be more attentive to the things of the Most High. And I'm not just saying that because I'm in church. I'm not. We may think it's no big deal, but it is a big deal. It is a big deal because he's watching. I'm going to tell you something else being casual will do. Before you know it, you just going through the motions. I'm going to say that again. Before you know it, you're just going through the motions. Not only with how you are here, how you are at home. How you are on your job. Sleepwalking. He says this. He says, pay attention to what I say. Then I will be your God, and you will be my people. And then he says a little more. He says, in everything, live according to the way and they put here, order you. See, and I'm saying we, because I don't want anybody to think I'm not throwing shade at anybody. So I'm using we. They use the word order. They use the word order here. See, being casual. Being casual sometimes will have you treating the Most High as if he's your favorite uncle that always got some money for you when he see you, or your favorite aunt. Or we see him like a grandfather that think everything we do is cute. Some of us see him like a spouse. He is none of that. And I know some preachers have preached. He's whatever you need. Yeah. But I'm talking about, this is what I'm talking about. See, because I know I'm not the only one that whine and pout. And for some of us, whining and pouting and crying gets results. But, I can tell you again, and not telling you as if I'm some authority, telling you as one that have gotten the good side and the not so good side of acting a fool and pouting and whining, and I'm going to hold my breath. Yeah, well, Barry, if you hold your breath too long, you're going to die, son. See, some of us think, well, God, I had a brother recently, not bloodline brother. I had a brother in the faith. Something didn't go right on his job. And he said, I got mad at God. And we were just talking, so, I didn't go all churchy on him. Hey, man, two brothers talking. And he said, I was really mad. And he seemed to really think that that's going to move God. And see, a lot of us think, well, now, you don't want me to pray. Pray. Like our prayer's going to move him. That's arrogant and that's ignorant. I'm so sick of people with that. It's like a stench. You don't realize how ridiculous you sound and look. Stop that. He's more than that. He's not our lackey. And we need to stop treating him like that. But see, being casual brings that about. We begin to think we're more than we really are. And see, society's promoting that garbage, and some of us are eating it up. Stop doing that. And please don't bring that in here, please. Then I will be your God, and you will be my people. In everything, live according to the way I order you. And then he says this, and this is the part we ought to be hanging on to. He says, so that things will go well for you. Pay attention to the things that I say. Don't just read your Bible so you can say, well, I read my Bible for about an hour and a half. I mean, that's good that you did that. But what are you really saying? And why are you even saying that? Casual. Pay attention to what I say. Then I will be your God, and you will be my people. In everything, live according to the way I order you, so that things will go well for you. I've told you this story a million times when I was brought to naught. Couldn't get a job as a gas station attendant, sitting in that little booth. Lived there 2 years. No income coming in, writing checks every month. Had the people at Lakewood Church, the ones that I knew, praying that I find employment because I didn't want to come back to Virginia. When all was lost, well, when it got real low, because see, I was still, listen, I had become casual even in my service. Oh, yeah, were you going? Yes, I was going to church. I was captain of the ushers. I had 35 men under my direction. I was the one working the big slice of the pie, the one that was seen on TV. People used to say, I saw you. I had the headset on my head. You couldn't tell me nothing. And Pastor Joel Osteen, he was a cameraman. And Joel's camera was right behind me, and he don't know me from a can of paint. But we would speak to each other, and he would just nod, but he was a good cameraman. Listen, when we used to do those Christmas programs, they would send it to Channel 12, and they would say they didn't have to edit nothing. And they would just show the Lakewood Christmas service. He was that good. Little did I know, and again, I'm not saying that I knew him. He was doing his job, and I was doing mine. And we just would acknowledge each other. That's it. Like I said, he wouldn't know me today from a can of paint because I ain't have no gray hair and I didn't have a beard. He looks about the same, though. But I had become casual in that. Oh, you couldn't tell me nothing. When they were getting ready to build that new church and I got that letter to come down, because I knew, I was a good Christian. I paid my tithes. Yes, sir. Oh, man, what you think? God was on my side. But I had become casual. And I remember I was so frustrated, and I called to my parents' house. Of course, nobody answered. You know where they were. Y'all know where they were. But I'm telling you, it wasn't until I began to, and I would walk the floor. You know, I did. I walked the floor, snot flying. I couldn't believe this. Everything. Wife gone. Job gone. 2 years. Paid my bills. I was managing. But that account, see, when ain't nothing coming in and you writing checks, and after a whole lot of snot flying, I said, okay. I said, you win. All right. You win. I said, okay, Uncle. I used to pray, and my breakthrough came. Listen, I was praying everything I could think of. I was trying to remember stuff that I did when I was a little boy. That was good. But I asked him, I said, well, listen, when I finally realized, I said, when I realized how insignificant I was, for real. See, that stuff, being in them big churches and stuff, that stuff can kind of get to your head. I'm not making excuses. I'm just being real with you. And see, sometimes when you keep hearing that system teaching, the more you get, the more God loves you, you start kind of believing that crap. But it wasn't until I said, well, I didn't know what I said. Well, listen, will you move on my behalf for my folks, for my parents' sake? I had exhausted everything that I thought was worthy, which probably won't worth a row of pens. But see, I had become casual about that. Folks, and I'm telling you, the only reason I'm bringing it up, because I see it here. I'm telling you, some of us think we set. And look, I'm not saying y'all is looking to pull the rug out from anybody's feet. I don't know that. I don't rank that high. But what I'm saying is be careful about the casualness. Stop thinking you got this. Anybody's situation can turn for the worse overnight. And I'm not saying that it's going to happen. And if it does happen, I'm not saying he allowed it to happen to destroy you. It might be that's your wake-up call. That's our wake-up call. I don't want another one of those. So if I'm going to try to function in the office of a pastor, because that's all I'm trying to do is function. I'm not into titles and all of that, because all of that ain't worth, well, I'm in church, I won't say. But it's not worth what we think it is. I'm telling you, man, a lot of stuff we're doing, it stinks. And I, for one, am tired of smelling it. And I'm not saying that like I think I'm something, because I know I ain't. But when I stopped trying to do it my way, and when I got out of my feelings, my house sold in 2 weeks. And I was so glad to get out there. The realtor was like, well, what you want? I said, I don't want nothing. Just let them have the house. I'm ready to go. Because when I finally said, okay, you win, I'll go. Then next thing you know, Pop was coming down. And Mom, Barry, don't you tire your daddy out. I'm like, okay, all right. Folks, I'm sharing this because I'm telling you, casualness will kick your behind. That's not a bad word, y'all. I'm telling you, another thing, listen, pride comes before the fall. So when you start believing your press clippings and you got your little group that's egging you on, hey, you better cut some of them crazy folks loose. You don't have to lay nobody out. But hey, listen. Watch all that kind of stuff. Watch that. Hey, and listen. It's not only important that you do what he say, but you do it the way he say. That's another thing. Being casual, you get to where, well, as long as I'm doing what's right, it don't matter how I do it. That's kind of like you say you want to prepare somebody's favorite meal, but then you cook it the way you want to cook it. I'm being serious here. I serve God. Yeah. Is that how you serve him? Is he pleased with that? I know you're pleased with it. You can tell some people think they all that. And when they speak, hear thus saith the Lord, shut up. You're too harsh. Well, be quiet. Pay attention to what I say. Then I will be your God, and you will be my people. In everything, live according to the way I order you, so that things will go well for you. You know, some of us were really disappointed, you know, with the way things went and all that, and I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it, but I think in Insight, we got a chance to hear something from a young brother. I think he's 38, 39, or 40, and it was so refreshing because some of the young people are getting it. Some of the younger adults are getting it. And listen, that young man, I hope he's as successful as he can be. You know why? Because he's going to pay his taxes, and I'm going to get some Social Security money from the taxes that he paid. See, all of us that got gray hair now, we paid for our parents and their grandparents' Social Security and all of that. We paid into that. We need to pray for, I think it's Gen Z that can't keep a job. Because they're the ones that's going to be funding our retirement. See, y'all be thinking I be joking when I say stuff like that. We need people to keep getting married, having children, so we can retire. Of course, it's not as simple as I say. But think about this. Think about, oh, goodness. All right, I see it, Reg. In Genesis 6:3. I got this from one Wednesday night. Carrie, I'm sorry, we're in church. Elder Carrie Burke. He brought this up, and I was kind of down, and I was in one of them. I was in one of them selfish moods where I was like, well, I was feeling sorry for myself. But he said this. He said, Genesis 6:3, and it says as follows. It says, Yah said, my spirit will not live in human beings forever, for they are two flesh. Therefore, their lifespan is to be 120 years. And when he said that, and I went to it and I read it, I said, man, I got perked up again because, there was so much loss of life in my family and in a lot of your family. And I said, well, I don't know if I want to hang around 120 years. I said, I was saying, well, yeah, but if I hang around that long, everybody I know will be dead. And I'll just be around there. Ain't nobody going to know me. Just be an old man sitting around somewhere drooling out the side of my mouth. This is what I'm thinking. I'm like, well, well, maybe I can get to 95 or 100. But when he said that, because he was talking about something else, but he used that scripture, all of a sudden, man, I got in. I said, I can do 120. I'm on. So I said, I'm on shoot for 120. So I'm saying that to say, some of us might make 120. Some of us might make 120. Some of us might pass 120. And so, I'm also saying this. See, being casual also says, well, you're getting older now. You're slowing down. Now, I'm not trying to make the Olympics. But 120 years, that's still a good ways away. So even somebody in their 80s or 90s, and I don't think anybody's in their 90s that's in here today. According to what Yah said, you still got another 30 years. Another 30 years. That way, if you want to, you can buy another house and get a 30-year mortgage. I wouldn't advise it. But what I'm saying, see, saints, what I'm saying is being casual, it just makes you, I don't care. Maybe I will. I don't really feel like it. Let them do it. And I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to sit down. I see you turn it off. Listen. when you feel that apathy coming on you, go back to this. Go back to Genesis. Go back and read that again. Because it's basically, he's saying, hey, if you do what I say and you do it the way I say, you can get $1.20. Now, maybe some say, $1.20 right much. Well, that'll be between you and he. But let's kind of shake some of this. It's a little more serious than we're looking at it. Now, I'm not saying you got to live like you're in the military. But we have become way too casual. If I show, okay. If I don't, okay. And I'll close with this. The truth of the matter is, for most of us, you will be where you deem it important to be. And I'm not just talking about church. In life, you will be wherever you deem it important. You'll be there. God bless you.